Now it's the fun part, creating content. This is the time when you're actually going to start creating everything that you've been building and learning for the client. And I will reiterate again, as I've done many, many times, this isn't going to be the same for every single client. This is month 3, step 7, but at the same time, you're going to be creating content most of the time while you're learning. And I'm going to give you an example of a company that we actually started working for, and they weren't quite sure what they wanted, but they wanted to start somewhere. So they had to start with one campaign, and then each month that we worked with them, we learned more and more and more. And trust me, you're going to run into problems. Expect to run into problems. That's just part of learning with a new client. And it's always going to happen, but you have to be solution oriented and you have to be collaborative with the clients. So important to show up front that you are on their team and you are willing to work with them. This also means there's a good chance you don't make money or you lose money in these first couple of months, especially knowing that you've pitched the long-term idea and they understand that we're going to be learning together. You're going to be learning about what works, what doesn't work, what to charge, how to charge. And then as you're building your team out, you're also learning about team members. There's so much learning and doing. So I know I've been talking so much about the learning phase and the building phase and all this time you're learning, but at the same time, you should be implementing things while you're learning along the way. Implementing things by actually creating content and learning. So I'm going to show you this company. So going into, the company is called Brandless. And I'm going to just put this right here and zoom in on it. Okay, so we started off with one campaign, and I've kind of organized these just for the sake of teaching you guys what happened over pretty much the first 6 months. But these are the first 5 campaigns. And then once we got to campaign 5, it was like we found what worked. So laying this in the groundwork as well for the client is important to let them know that we're not going to be 100% correct every time up front, but we're learning together. We're learning their brand, they're learning their brand. We're learning what works, what content, what sticks. But by month 5, 6, hopefully by month 3, and it just becomes printing money. And that's part of what's cool about partnering with us is as you go and try to close clients and you try to bring on new clients, you're not necessarily representing just yourself. You're able to use Tyson Media's entire reputation and case studies and clients that we're currently working with, and clients like this, you can show them and say, hey, look, we did this, we adjusted, we adapted. And that's a huge part about working with us is you can say, we've done this many times and we are seeing success. And it gets to a point where the video and the content, things just start working and you find out what works. And once you find what works, then you're just going to slowly change with algorithms and the growth of the business, and you're just going to grow with the business. So it's really cool when it actually starts happening. So anyway, back to this. So the first thing that Brandless did, they are a company that is an umbrella company. They're like an investment firm. They own many other companies, and one of the companies is Sutera. But when they first brought us in, they said, hey, we want to do a campaign to launch a new brand, which was Brandless 2.0. So they said, we want to do a video that will actually live on a billboard in Times Square. I'm like, this is going to be a super fun activity. This is going to be a super fun project and activity. Basically, we sat with their team. We sat with their CEO. They pitched us on what they wanted. We sat with the CMO, brand manager, all these different people. And we just asked them a lot of questions, similar questions to what we would ask in the previous videos. And we put together an idea based on a lot of different directions and conversations, and it needed to be 15 seconds long. It had to pitch the brand, it had to be high quality, and it had to be fast and eye-catching. So we brought together an idea, and basically this is where the idea started. They have these products, which are a blender, some vitamins, and then I can't remember what this is. So this was our storyboard, right? This is part of the pitch. So we're able to take what's in our brains as creatives, and you think it comes natural to people that aren't necessarily creating content to see what's in your head. It doesn't work that way. You need to be able to articulate and show people what you see happening. So it's kind of cool to actually see what ends up happening at the end of this project, but you've got a close up and the camera pulls back, boom, reveals a graphic, and then the graphic comes through the camera and ends up landing here with one of the brand colors. And then we, boom, jump to this product, zoom backwards, appears a graphic, boom, now we're seeing the wide. Same thing all the way through. And then we end with a little brandless live better type thing. So these were graphics, these were things that we were given, and then it slowly changed. So this ended up being the final product. And then that just loops over and over and over, because it ended up being shown at a launch party, but also on a billboard, which was really cool. And just to show you the video I made afterwards to show it being on a billboard. Okay, here we go. And camera is rolling. 3, 2, 1, action. Yeah. So that was a pretty special moment for me in my career, to actually have something I created chilling and hanging out in Times Square. So that was super fun. But that was our intro. Like, we charged them the hourly rates. There was no retainer in place yet. This was just like, hey, we want to try you guys out. We've heard great things. Let's do a campaign. So this was our first campaign, and we crushed it. And they're like, cool. Now we want to start selling products. So they introduced us to one of their companies, which is Sutera. And that was, okay, we need to create Amazon 16:9 videos. And we also need to have some things to run on television. So, Hulu, Prime, Netflix, TV, not really television, but streaming platforms. So we put together a project, and this is what came from it. We ended up creating fun videos like this.
Should be more than a safe place. A place where you can dance like nobody's watching.
So did that. That was one of their products.
80% of bathroom injuries are caused by slips and falls. Let your mind focus. Diatomaceous earth, keeping your bathroom clean.
We know there's a difference between sleeping and sleeping well. The Sutera Dream Deep pillow was carefully designed specifically for you. Use side sleeper.
So you get the idea. Those were 3 of the products. So we did a shoot at one of these homes. It was actually a super quick turnaround. I think we started planning at the beginning of March and shot within 2 weeks. So we had to be that was also a cool way to show how collaborative and quick we could work within what they needed. So we ended up delivering quite a few assets. And then they're like, cool, we have that taken care of. Now we need to start generating revenue. At this point, they're like, we like you guys. We want to start a retainer, and we want to start creating ads for social media, organic, Facebook or Meta, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, all these different places that they wanted to start running these ads. So this is part of us learning, right? So we're learning along the way, which is cool. And I think that happens quite often where, they want content as soon as they meet you. That's why they reached out to you, and they want to continue, and they want to just build on that. So we're learning, and now these aren't necessarily driving conversion right away, because we've created them for TV. Now they're going to start launching them. Now they're like, hey, we need to start running things for Instagram, just social platforms. So we took a lot of that content that we created the month prior, and we resized it for different platforms. So we've got, so you saw a little bit of these ads.
We believe in the power of sleep.
So we resized them. And then we found this month, a lot of this stuff is the higher produced content. And this is something too that you'll learn as you start to, grow with companies, as times change, algorithms change, platforms change. It's changing every month, and so you have to adapt. Back at this time, or right before this time, higher quality content like this was actually performing well, but it was slowly in this transition from high performing content to user generated content, which feels a little more native to the platforms. There's a time and place for the higher stuff, like YouTube pre-roll stuff, and that's where this stuff came in. And then we've got this stuff that we tried. This is higher quality, not necessarily UGC. I would consider this kind of in between.
You guys, I finally got my hands on the pillow that I've been seeing all over TikTok, and look how weird it is.
So you can tell it's higher produced, but it's still user content, right? It means it's edited, and then this is the same thing.
Is it TikTok that's keeping me up at night or because I can't sleep? I finally figured it out once I switched my pillow. You guys.
Okay, so we created all these cool videos that are all around the same thing. So resizing and making higher quality ads for social media. And then we're like, hey, we are seeing success with other companies that are using user-generated content. I mean, users are getting a script from us. They take the script and film on their iPhone and then deliver us the content, and then we edit it into ads. Let's try that out. So that's what brings us into these videos.
This is how I got rid of my neck pain for less than $60. I was honestly surprised when this worked for me because I had tried almost everything. Pain medication, chiropractor visits, massages twice a week. Sure, it feels some immediate relief, but it would never last.
Buy
Yeah,
this
yeah.
because it improves your posture. Buy this
User-generated, they're filming it themselves. So we learned a lot from that. We've got all these different videos, and those started crushing. So we'll talk about this in the month 4, optimization and growth. You start to find what works and you lean into it. Boom. Now we're leaning into it. We're finding new creators. These were ads that actually performed super, super well for Sutera.
Upgrade your bathroom routine with a towel that stays fresh.
This is how I got
Dozens of DMs.
I was seeing this
I was seriously tired.
So you're getting scripts, you're trying new hooks, you're making iterations. And just to show you what happened after that, this is basically what happened as we went through each process. So we got the TV stuff, and then we started to find out about the UGC stuff and trying that out. So we did tons of these videos, and in each video, there's tons of iterations and versions. And then we've got more as we got into Q4, tons of iterations, tons of videos. And now that we've found what works so well, this year we've been doing similar things, but just way more. So Q1, Q2, Q3, it's all the same. We actually didn't do anything but UGC this whole year, and it crushed it for Brandless and Sutera. So that's part of growing. That's part of learning what works for companies. It's part of creating content and campaigns, problems. So finding solutions to those problems, being just solution minded, right? So I'm going to actually leave a link to this campaign 2. I'll just bring it back up. I'm going to leave a link for you for these inside. In fact, I'm going to call it so that you can actually use this link to show people and talk them through exactly what I did if they're interested in learning about it. So we're going to put all this inside of here. Here is a link to use as an example. Okay. So click that link and what I just showed you will actually show up, and you can use that right here. So it'll take you right into here. So as you're take this information that I'm giving you and actually talk through it, like, hey, look, this is a good this is kind of how things started. And then we started to see what worked. And we've done this with so many companies as we start to learn what works for them, but also what drives revenue and things like that. Another cool thing about all this is you go into this with this information, do what you need to get the client onboarded. Partner with us. Come in and use our systems. You're going to get my brain and our team to actually help you along the way, and we'll coach you and hold your hand through this whole process and help you land clients. So you'll be in the meetings, and me and my team will actually be talking through a lot of what I just talked through. And we'll just excel the process for you. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in step 8.